No, this is an important story. I think this is a family story that you tell you tell your grandchildren this story.
Yeah.
So this is the first telling of it.
All right.
It's on tape.
So Jane had a bad night of sleep. She's tossing and turning all night long. I wake up that morning. I have to turn her over like 3 times before I leave, which was really irregular.
You turn Jane over like an omelet?
Yeah, you have to like pull her legs out and flip her belly over, and it's a lot. Yeah. So I leave. I go to work. I get a text from her later on, and she's like, "Oh, I'm having some pains or some, my back's sore, all that kind of stuff." And I was like, "Okay, well, do you want me to come home?" She's like, "No, I'm okay."
This is like what time?
I don't know, like around afternoon. I can't remember. So I was like, it's not gonna take me that long. So let me just finish up a couple things here. I'll get out of here in like 20 minutes. So once I'm about ready to leave, I shoot her a text and I'm telling her I'm about to leave, and she says, well, can you call the triage nurse? Because I talked to her OB, and her OB says that she should be put on some IV. So she's like, okay, we can bring her over to the local Kaiser and get her on some fluids. And so the whole way home, I'm rushing now because I feel like this is, more urgent, and she's, not comfortable. And so she finally get on with the triage nurse. We get on a 3-way call with Jane, and I can hear it in her voice that she's like not comfortable at all, and like it was just more so than it was before.
What is she? Is she vocalizing anything?
I mean, no. It's just they have to ask you the normal questions, like can you verify your birth? And she's just like, yes, like she's just exhausted by every little question. So
really,
and I'm just speeding home. So
they ask you questions.
Yeah, of course. They want to make sure that if it's like a real serious thing, or if it's, if they can just say, flip over to this one side, and, hot water. I don't know.
Why is it all flipping? Why is it all flipping?
There's always something about
why is the answer always
very
flip, flip
yeah.
Jane?
So anyways, we hang up with the Kaiser lady, telling her that we're going to go to the local Kaiser that's going to be maybe 15 minutes from there, because it's right down the road. It's like 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
So I walk in, and she's on the bed, and she's just like under the pillows, like moaning, like not comfortable at all. And so I was like, all right, we're going to get you up. We're going to go. We're going to go now. And so I start running around the house, and I pick up like little things here. And I come back, and I've got my jacket on. I'm ready to go. And I got her jacket. And she's like, I really have to go to the bathroom, because with Cooper, that was the worst thing. She got to the hospital. They like didn't allow her to go to the bathroom, because they say when you have that urgency, that same urge, that is the same feeling that a baby would have when they're coming. So they wouldn't allow her to pee, but really before she did need to pee. This time, we sat her down the toilet. She's not peeing. And I look down, and I see Claire's head. Like she's crowning like 1 or 2 inches.
Oh my God.
And so I hold her head, and I pick up Jane, and I lay her down on the bathroom floor, and pretty much almost, I take off her pants, and I think almost immediately after I took her pants off, that it just like came all at once. Like it was.
Wait. So this wasn't like a. So you were never at a loss what to do, because it just started to.
It just happened. Like it was like, if I didn't put it on the ground, like it would have been in the toilet. Like it's like it was that fast. That it happened.
My God.
She texted her, and like to give you time on how fast. It increased for her. She was texting her boss about like oh, I'm having some trouble with some pains or whatever, and that was like at 1:38, and I called 911 at 1:45.
Yeah.
And that means that she pretty much was born at 1:43. So it was like.
Holy shit.
Yeah, she felt fine enough to tell her boss over text that she's like okay. Like 4 minutes later, she had a baby. Like that's how much it spiked so fast. So now we're back.
I mean, was it really disconcerting to have a human being emerge from Jane without like all of the trapping, like the theater of the blanket and everything? And
dude, it was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life.
So were you immediately sure that Clara was okay?
No, I wasn't sure of anything. Like,
okay, so is she crying and
She
breathing and
comes
stuff,
out,
or
and her water breaks at the same time, and she immediately starts to cry. So like.
Wow.
immediately I'm like, okay, something is right because
Okay.
I know she's crying.
Okay.
Her robe is right on the floor next to us because we're in the bathroom. So I lay Clara down on the robe, and the umbilical cord isn't that long, so she's pretty close to it. And so the only thing that I remember from Cooper was that you got to keep them warm. So I immediately like get a clean cloth and I put it over her, and then I grab a towel and I put it behind Jane's head because I don't know if she's how she's feeling, you know. And then I kind of run out of the bathroom after I know that, you know, Claire's okay for a moment, and I go get a heated blanket. I bring it back in, I plug it in, and I wrap it around her. I kind of inspect everything. I look back at her, and she's responsive to me, but she's not crying anymore. So, but she was pink, and then she started turning darker. Probably just because she was cold. So I call 911, and then 911 kind of, you know, takes too long, of course, take more information and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like giving my address, like while my baby's like on the floor, and like Jane's like on the floor. It was just,
oh my
like,
God.
I had to like speak so slowly to them to make sure that they could like not have to ask me twice. It was ridiculous.
Oh my God.
And then
in the meantime, like, what is Jane saying anything?
Jane's eyes are closed, and she's having
Is she out?
active contractions.
Okay,
No,
okay.
she's having active contractions. I don't know if like Oliver's about to come too, so I'm kind of running back and forth, like, you know, I get, like, things happen so fast. Like, I even got like a warm, wet cloth to, like, you know, go back and wipe her off with, and couldn't even get the cloth to her because I had to do something else because the cord was still attached, but it's still pumping, and you can let it pump for a little while, but if you let it pump too long, then it puts them both at risk. So the 911 tells me that I need to like clamp the line somehow. So I go to my work shoes that I just took off, and I take out the shoelaces, and I come back, and I'm on the phone like, you know,
Clamp the line?
the umbilical cord.
Okay.
Because, you know, I don't know why it's
Do you
bad.
have like one of those potato chip savers?
I actually had one nearby, but the shoelace worked better, so I
Like a
tied it off.
Okay.
And you know, 6 inches from the belly button, and that was what you're supposed to do apparently. And soon after that, then the guys arrived, the EMTs arrived,
Yeah.
the fire department arrived, and then I just kind of.
This is all like this is an amazing story. I mean, this is really it's kind of Tarantino. Like, it's a little.
It was seriously because.
In what room of the house is this all happening? This is in the bathroom.
The brand new bathroom, the one that we just like refinished, heated floors.
Why?
So it was nice to be on the heated floors. Apparently, I don't know.
Why didn't Jane go to the guest bathroom?
We were on the toilet. I had to literally take her off the toilet, put her on the floor right there, and it was like a moment later, Clara was in my hands.
You know, it was like you guys built a nest for this all to happen. It's
I
like
don't
you
know.
sensed it. You sensed it like deep in your lizard brain that this was going to happen. So you need to create a safe space with a heated floor
I don't know.
and calming paint tones.
It all worked out.
Okay.
Blessed.
Wow. Okay. So the hospital gets there. Do they commend you for like nice
Yeah,
job?
Yeah. I mean, there's all the,
Like-
you know, great job, da 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 da, and we have to keep telling them again and again. There's another baby in there. This is not the only one. There's twins, and they're like, takes them a moment to understand like what's happening. They're thinking like, okay, this is good. So
And they're like, oh, we're the wrong guys. We're the
No.
closers. We're not the ongoing baby
they were
people.
not the right guys, but they were good enough. So they're talking about that they need to bring in a stretcher, and so, you know, it's kind of cramped corners. So I didn't realize that I did all this until I came back the next day, but
Mhm.
I like grabbed our bed apparently and like kind of threw it against the wall. Like our dining room table, the big one, was filled with stuff, and I took everything off the table and threw it onto the couch, and I grabbed the table and like threw it up against the windows so we can get the stretcher through. And I know when I came back that night, I was talking to my mom on the phone, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I walk into the house, and that was like, it all kind of came back to me. I'm like, oh my God, I like hulked out on this whole place.
Yeah,
Just, like,
yeah.
started throwing things everywhere.
It was the adrenaline.
But yeah, it was pretty crazy.
You momentarily lost your mind and
So,
turned into a pioneer man.
Yeah, I left her cell phones on the ground too. Yeah, that was the other thing. Like I had to actually have the cell phone on me because my speaker wouldn't work. So it was crazy.
How much later did Oliver come?
So she came at 1:43, and I think he came at 3:54. I think it was.
Okay.
So.
Did Jane find a comfortable bathroom to have Oliver in?
So that was the other crazy thing. We're at the hospital now. Well, during the drive, I'm behind the ambulance, and they're like, "You're not allowed. It's illegal to follow behind."
Did you try to drive the ambulance? Like you were so in beast mode that you tried to drive the ambulance to the hospital yourself?
No, I drove behind the ambulance and went through some red lights with them. And yeah, it was just like kind of beeping and like flashing lights and stuff like that, like cutting people off.
Wait a minute. And then they pulled
crazy.
over to say, no, you can't.
No. They told me beforehand. They're like, you can't follow this. This is against the law. And I'm like, yeah,
Oh.
okay. And then I just like do it. And then when we get to the hospital, I was like, hey, I know you guys told me I can't do that, but I did. And he was like, it's cool. I've done it too. Like, so I was like, all right, thanks.
They're like, yeah, like every,
just have to say
like no one listens to
It's
us.
a disclaimer, yeah.
Okay.
So now we're in the hospital. Clara goes and she's being taken care of. I go with Jane and then we go into the room, and then there's this whole thing of like finally once she stabilizes and then we know that he's okay, because that was the other thing. Like I knew that like Clara was still alive because I could, she was responsive to my touch, and that was the other thing. I was on the phone 911 and I would keep saying to the 911 person, like, she's still responsive to my touch, but it was almost like I was trying to say that to Jane because her eyes were closed, and I knew that she couldn't hear her cry anymore, so I didn't know what was going through her head. So I was kind of like, she's still responsive to my touch, she's still responsive to my touch, and so then Jane would know that.
It's
like,
weird that Jane's not talking during this whole time.
Dude, she's actively contracted. She's in so much pain. Her eyes are closed. She's
Okay.
just like, like trying to hold everything in.
I thought you still had like consciousness though when you.
She is. I mean, she.
I didn't know that
remembers
you went
me
into like
saying
a
that.
like a contraction trance.
I mean, you don't want to talk. Well, she doesn't want to talk when she's in this thing, which was the horrible thing about this car ride.
Yeah.
The ambulance ride. They give her Clara to hold.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't hold her because I'm actively contracting. I don't have control over my body. And they're asking her to like tell Clara a story, and she's like, what are you
What?
doing? Like, stop telling me to talk to my baby. Like, you take the baby. Like, and so
What?
they were just like, it was like a whole bunch of Jasons like running the ambulance.
So-
like, well, so dude, like, don't you
So
want to tell
like
the baby
I
something?
read somewhere that yeah.
It was like that. So
was it all these
no
bros?
offense,
Like
Jason.
no, but were they like experienced? Did they seem experienced?
Yeah, I mean, they were experienced, but like, I don't know if you're ever prepared for that situation.
Yeah, but
so.
it's okay. Their playbook was so strange. It was almost
crazy.
like they're trying to deal with like a jumper or something. Like
I don't
like
know what was going
tell
on.
Clara her life is worth living.
It was crazy. So
Okay, so
we're at the hospital. Claire's good. She goes over to the intensive care unit, and I go with Jane. We make sure that Oliver's okay, because this the whole time I just don't even know what or if he's okay or what's happening with that. I hear his heartbeat, and it's like everything kind of relaxes. Yeah, then it was just kind of like a weird waiting game where we knew everyone was okay.
Mhm.
Everyone's like, you're MacGyver, Dad. Like, hey, shoelaces. Like, they're all like, you want a job? It's kind of like, let's please concentrate.
Yeah, I'm impressed, man.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
it was
good job,
crazy.
Taylor. You're the man.
So then we have to wait for the intensive care unit to come from this hospital over to Clinton, and to pick up one of the kids, because we knew that both of them had to come here at some time to go to the NICU.
I bet Mom hated that they had to go to Clinton.
Well, they start the antibiotics so that at least Oliver can get some in the system, but then they say, since he's good, don't push, like keep him in the oven until the specialist comes here from there. So
Okay.
now we're just waiting, and then Jane is not comfortable, and we're waiting the entire time. They finally come. This is like fast forwarding a while. It's like more than an hour. They finally come, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, your insurance says that we can't bring you to this hospital. You have to go to Children's. So we have to stop everything. Like, the doctor is scrubbed up, ready to go, ready to break the water, ready to do this. And then she has to like stop and walk out and be like, what do you mean? We have to wait for the Children's crew to come out here to like bring them over to Children's Hospital? And then I was like,
I can't believe that's a comedy.
it was not funny. And I'm just like holding them, Jane, and just like giving them like dagger eyes, being like, do not let them leave. You are going to take this child to wherever the NICU is. Like, and they figured it out. They came back. They did it. And then Clara went first, and then we just waited.
Okay.
It was freaking crazy.
Okay, cool.
Scariest day of my life.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm gonna end this on a fist bump. Thank you, Taylor, for bringing Clara and Oliver into the world. I'll put this on YouTube or something. Maybe I'll get like 7 views.